heartbreak for Toronto baseball fans as the two-way superstar Shohei Ohtani says it's a no for the Blue Jays.
Well, heartbroken in one word. We're so excited.
We're live on the upset, where he's going instead and what it means for the Jays.
Often told by teachers that they have trouble getting kids' attention.
Could Toronto students soon face a cell phone and social media ban at school? Why Canada's largest school board is considering a crackdown.
Palestinians have a culture. Palestinians have a type of food. It's very delicious.
Palestinian Canadians come together cooking meals for those going hungry in the GTA, while also raising concern about the ongoing humanitarian crisis in Gaza.
This is CBC Saturday News.
Thanks for joining us. Blue Jays fans have been waiting all week, hoping for good news with the signing of baseball superstar Shohei Ohtani. The frenzy even going as far as tracking flights. Well, tonight we have our answer, and it's not the one many were looking for. Let's bring in Greg Ross live. So Ohtani is going to be a Dodger after the Jays were considered to be a front runner all week. Greg, I know this just came down, but what do we know about what went wrong?
Well, what I can tell you, Shannon, is there was just a lot of hype surrounding this, and I think there was a lot of misinformation out there. But let's talk about what led to where we are right now, and it really begins earlier this week. The Jays were, for weeks, considered to be a contender to sign the big free agent, but earlier this week, on Monday, there was this report that came out that the Blue Jays had met with Shohei Ohtani. In fact, there was a report that he had flown to Dunedin, Florida, to meet them at their spring training facility to take a tour of that state-of-the-art facility that has just been renovated. And I think that had a lot of analysts and a lot of fans thinking, hey, maybe he is really considering the Blue Jays. And I think there was one other moment that kind of had a lot of people thinking the Blue Jays might be the front runner, and that's the fact that Shohei Ohtani is very private about these discussions. He has told teams that he does not want them to talk about these discussions or they will not be a contender. And then earlier this week, somebody had asked Dodgers manager Dave Roberts if they had talked to Shohei Ohtani, and he said, yes, we have talked to him. And a lot of people thought that was a bad move, and that might have been something that might have changed his mind, might have actually put the Blue Jays in the lead. And then things just started to spiral, Shannon. And then as the week went on, you start hearing things like people are tracking planes like we saw yesterday, and people getting excited about him possibly coming to Toronto. It didn't happen yesterday. Today we learned he signs a 10-year, $700 million contract. That is the largest guaranteed contract in North American sports history, and he is now going to be a member of the Los Angeles Dodgers.
An incredible deal, but so much disappointing moments for fans today. I'm sure they were refreshing their phones all day. We know the Jays are looking to rebuild, Greg, and they're willing to spend big bucks. We lost the chance to get Juan Soto earlier this week. Now today's news. Who should the Jays try to woo next?
Well, they definitely need to get some help. They lost some free agent players after this season, so there are some holes that need to be filled. Juan Soto would have been a great big bat, one of the best hitters in baseball, but he's now going to the Yankees. So that plan B is off the table. They'll be looking to some other options. Cody Bellinger is a name that's been thrown around. He is available. This is a guy that hit 47 home runs back in 2019. He had 26 home runs last year as a member of the Chicago Cubs. He's a good hitter, a good defensive outfielder. He can play multiple positions, in fact, so that would be a good pickup for the Blue Jays. Certainly, it's not the top, it's not plan B, but yes, it would be a good option right now as the Blue Jays try to fill holes, Shannon, in that lineup.
Okay, Greg, thank you so much for joining us tonight on this disappointing news. We appreciate all your analysis. He's live for us tonight at Rogers Center. It's obviously not the outcome many were hoping for. Ithel Musa has more reaction to the Ohtani upset.
Toronto Blue Jays fans waited with bated breath Saturday, but in the end, it was the Los Angeles Dodgers that secured Shohei Ohtani, one of the hottest baseball players on the planet.
Heartbroken in one word. We're so excited. I think Toronto is such a wonderful place, and Shohei is such a wonderful person. It would have been a match made in heaven.
There were reports Ohtani was leaving the Anaheim Angels, and the Toronto Blue Jays were in the running to land the Japanese free agent. The two-time American League MVP is one of the few true two-way players who can successfully pitch and hit on the field.
Ohtani is a once-in-a-century talent. The last player that we saw who was able to both pitch and hit within the same season for an extended period of time was Babe Ruth.
Fans have been known to fly in from as far away as Japan to watch Ohtani play. And dozens of Japanese media members are credentialed to cover the star player on a full-time basis. Ohtani's biggest fans say they'll continue to support the star athlete and their home team.
As much as we love Shohei and we'll follow him and wish him every success, we're ready for the Jays to compete and bring a championship home here too.
Ohtani's 10-year contract with the LA Dodgers is worth a historic $700 million US. Idil Musa, CBC News, Toronto.
Cell phones and social media can be a major distraction for everyone, but especially young students. That's according to Canada's largest school board. As Patrick Swadden shows us, now a ban could be coming to Toronto classrooms, but not everyone is supporting the idea.
You shouldn't use a cell phone when you're driving, but should kids be able to use them at school? That's a question TDSB Chair Rachel Chernios-Lynn once answered more clearly, as she says teachers often struggle to compete for their students' attention.
There's a lot of cell phones on the development of the brain and happiness.
In 2019, phone restrictions, unless for education, it's virtually unenforceable. No official cell phone policy.
We're looking to create something that has a little more teeth and that sets very
Exceptions, that could mean a ban on cell phones. Chernios-Lynn says that wouldn't happen without. In Peel, there's no ban, and this
a STEM subject. We encourage
should set their own rules and be supported by administration, but that banning cell phones will leave students unprepared to set their own boundaries in the future workforce.
School is a safe environment where hopefully they can be with our support and mentorship.
By ban cell phones in class to positive. That simple.
There's not a lot of relationships in schools, and what we do something like ban cell phones, increased emphasis on establishing among students.
Westheimer says phones needs to address. Chernios-Lynn.
And while technology is really we want to make sure that it's done for educational purposes.
On January 17th.
Being recognized by Toronto Police.
Really just inspires the young people that are here to their neighborhoods, certainly to priorities in their
63 young people completed the life experience through interactions with police officers and community members. 31 neighborhoods were represented by young people in the program.
Experience was pretty good here. I gained a lot of experience, what it felt like to be an actual police officer, and learned about different division and roles.
The Youth in Policing Initiative is part of the Ontario government's Youth Opportunities Strategy. It's meant to build stronger communities by establishing and expanding programs that help young people achieve a brighter future. Sophia's joining us with our first look at the forecast. I'm not sure if it's the Ohtani news, but it feels like a bit of a gloomy Saturday. Even though it's warm out there, I don't know, gray sky.
A lot more of that to come. In fact, long-range guidance says probably no snow as we head into Christmas, and it's going to get even warmer into next week. But yes, the gray clouds will be with us for quite a while. Let's talk a little bit about the mild temperatures, though. 15 today in Windsor. We hit 15 in Niagara Falls as well. So boy, was it balmy, but gray. We hit 12.8 in the city of Toronto. The record for this time this year was a 13.9, a record set back in 1966. So we didn't hit that daily record. But we did have some really strong winds along with those gray skies. We hit 50, 60 kilometers an hour. Continues to be the signature of a very strong and fast-moving cold front that will bring really strong winds aloft and a little bit of instability to allow for some very notable overnight thunderstorms. Yes, December thunderstorms, not completely unheard of, but certainly notable for any of the lakeshore regions around the Erie and Ontario shorelines. You're looking out for some nocturnal rumbles of thunder, and everybody really in southern Ontario will see some rain into the overnight to the tune of 10 to 15 millimeters. We will talk a little bit more on the long range, how this is just one of two systems, and it will bring snow into tomorrow. Bit of a roller coaster weekend. Look out for Mother Nature's light show into the overnight periods, and we'll talk about who gets snow after all this rain that's already coming down along the Georgian and the Huron shores and into the north. Shannon.
Okay, see you later.
Sounds good.
A shooting in Toronto early this morning has left a man fighting for his life. Police were called to the area of Wilson and Highway 400 just before 6:30 this morning after reports of a man lying on the road. Paramedics took him to hospital with life-threatening injuries. There are few other details right now, including who he is and possible suspects. An arrest to tell you about in connection with a brazen assault at a Brampton mall. A warning, some of you may find this footage disturbing. Now, this was back on October 23rd, about 8:30 at night. A woman was shopping at the Bramalea City Centre. According to police, she was approached by a suspect who accused her of filming him. When she tried to walk away is when this scene unfolded. A 14-year-old boy from Brampton is now facing charges of assault. Officers are still calling for witnesses. With the holidays approaching, many people are finding ways to give back to those in need. Tonight, we have the story of one group that's working to feed the hungry. As Sarah McMillan shows us, their inspiration comes from suffering halfway across the world.
This dish is a taste of home for many Palestinians, and tonight it's bringing warmth and comfort to people in need.
It's like bringing the best of everything and then putting it all together in one pot and making every ingredient a friend to the other. And every flavor of each ingredient is kind of like melting in together with the other.
It's a rice-based dish called makluba. This one includes eggplant, chicken, and lots of warm spices. At this Palestinian restaurant, Chef Al Adama has been cooking enough to feed hundreds of people.
We're doing this meals today and giving out for the shelters between Hamilton and Toronto and all the areas. Whatever we can help, we can give, we'll try to do for now.
This initiative was organized by a grassroots group which partnered with the nonprofit Third Pillar. It's meant to help community here, but it was largely inspired by hardship elsewhere. As war continues in Gaza, many organizers here have been worried about friends and family back home.
I don't think the word hard even gives it any justice. It has been traumatizing just trying to get in touch with them.
While they watch the news anxiously, unable to directly offer physical help, they've decided to also turn their attention to people in need right here in the GTA.
I was hoping by giving and showing love to, our people here, that our people in Palestine get, good care there as well, find someone to feed them, and God takes care of them.
Along with bringing warmth and nourishment to people who are hungry, they hope introducing people to Palestinian food could open doors to conversations.
Palestinians have a culture, Palestinians have a type of food. It's very delicious.
Hoping this will raise awareness, hoping that every time someone sees a dish and says, okay, I'm going to flip it like how Palestinian does it, maybe that will help, bring our humanity back.
They're giving out about 300 meals today, and they say they'll be back out again next Saturday doing the same with a different Palestinian dish. Sarah McMillan, CBC News, Mississauga.
It's not just putting food on the table that many people are struggling with. The city's shelter systems are full. More than 10,000 people are living on the street. We're about to meet a youth-led charity that's doing its part to help. Lip balm, toothbrushes and paste, blankets, socks, and warm gloves. All essential to surviving life on the street during Toronto's harsh winters.
So today we are at the Globe and Mail Center, right? And we are putting together care packages. It's 250 in number, and 150 of those care packages are going to be going to homes first, and 100 are going to be going on the streets. And it really started in 2019, and we started with 20 of these care packages. And now, we're putting together hundreds of them, literally as we speak. And it's been such a journey.
Back then, it was a way to celebrate his 20th birthday. As a York University student, he was often downtown, where he saw homeless people, many without socks or gloves.
We didn't know what we were doing, to be honest. We didn't know where we were actually going. We just knew, and shout out to my friends at the time, because they just followed me to distribute these things. And then we distributed them, and not everybody took it, right? Because I was actually shy, and we're all shy. How do you speak to someone you've never spoken to and tell them that you want to give them these products? So we went back with half of the products, and that was disheartening. And I can remember my dad came to surprise me from Nigeria, and then he encouraged me, told me to try again. So we went back the next year.
This time armed with more research, groundwork, and connections with local organizations.
Homes First is one of Toronto's largest emergency shelter and supportive housing providers. We have over 1,700 people in shelter. And so while that sounds like a lot, the actuals for those experiencing homelessness or precariously housed are tenfold that number. The need is astronomical. We need more support.
I know that's where Project Impacting Lives comes in. It's a youth-led charity, and they just wanted to find some way to help. So talk to us about what their care kits mean to your organization.
Oh, yeah. Well, first, I'd love to say that PIL is amazing. They're very focused on creating needs-based responses, which I really commend them for, and they've been able to mobilize so quickly over the last few years. I think it's really inspiring. And their care kits are a huge part of just being able to ensure that our most vulnerable residents have access to the basic necessities.
This year, the team hit 2 incredible milestones, some 15,000 winter care kits packed, and for the first time, they're reaching all corners of Ontario. The goal next year?
We're thinking national, obviously. We're thinking national, so we've had people constantly reaching out from Vancouver, Calgary, Winnipeg, Brandon, different places, and they want to be a part of this, and they're always asking, how can I be a part? It's a movement, and we tell people we're not just in the home business or housing business, we're in the love business, and we're showing people with our care packages that we love them and we care about them and they matter to us.
A holiday market in Toronto's West End is celebrating marginalized artists this weekend.
This one is featuring 40 vendors, 40 queer, trans, Black, Indigenous, and other racialized vendors who will be selling everything from jewelry, clothing, art, ceramics, food. There's so much that you can find right here in one spot.
Dozens of emerging artists are selling their handmade pieces to shoppers this holiday season. Now in its 5th year, the one and only artist market says all the proceeds go directly back to the artists Organizers say representation, especially at this time of year, is important. They say their space allows people who face barriers in creating art to showcase their work. A winter village surrounding the CN Tower is adding to the festive season. The holiday street market runs until January 7th. Admission is free, and you can expect lots of holiday decor, plus some good eats, festive fun for the whole family. So festive fun, but it's not looking festive out there. Sophia, the kids keep asking me, where's the snow? And does Santa still come if there's no snow?
Yeah, it might be like a February snowman making day at this rate. The way we're going, we could use some nice fluffy flakes for the big day, couldn't we? There's a lot of active weather this weekend, but it's more on the mild side. Actually, 3 systems at play, all taking jabs at us at different parts of the province this weekend. A Texas low, a prairie clipper, and yet another stateside low. We are already seeing some heavy rains in the Timmins-Chapleau area and even through the London and Windsor corridor. Everybody into the overnight period will see anywhere from about 10 to 15 millimeters of rainfall. And then into the overnight, we have that extra oomph from that cold front that you'll see some nocturnal thunderstorms. In behind the storms is round 2 of this active weather, the very cold air that will filter in behind that will again turn on that lake effect snow machine. Watch the temperatures drop from Sunday morning right to Sunday evening as we fall back down to seasonal, along with added snow from that prairie clipper. For those of you in Northern Ontario, you're looking at anywhere from 5 to 10 centimeters of snowfall. A little bit more for those of you in parts of Eastern Ontario. Could be the potential of another sizable snowfall for those of you in the nation's capital region, 5 to 10 centimeters of snowfall, and then more for anybody in the traditional snow belt regions for a potentially dicey Monday morning commute, anywhere along the 400, the 401, and even Highway 7, right down to the QEW corridor and the Hamilton Mountain. Colder temperatures for Monday, but then really after a high confidence of an active weekend, we are looking at a pretty mild 7-day forecast. No snow for the kids, Shannon. We are above seasonal really for the majority of the week. A little bit of sunshine, but a very different story as we've seen this winter with active and cold in Ottawa.
Yes, we'll take the sunshine. I think we could all use a bit of sunny sky right now.
Agreed.
Thanks so much, Sophia. That's our show for you tonight. As we go, we want to show you some more festive footage from around Toronto. The Christmas tree at Yonge Dundas Square is now up. Lots of people out enjoying that today. We'll see you tomorrow night at 11.